Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 5 and this video we will present about research project methods in English language teaching. The skill or competence is grammar and we call this method is EGRA. First, I would like introduce myself. My name is Ginano Latifa with NPM 222122019 and I will be the moderator, also the first presenter. Apart from me, there are several other people who are also our presenters. They are Siti Jahra as the second presenter, Pirli Armanda as the third presenter, Dea Amelia as the fourth presenter, Dinda Aulia Nursolihat as the fifth presenter, and the last presenter is Yuli Fitriani Atmaja. EGRA is learning technique that has 4 steps, namely the first exposure, the second generalization, the third reinforcement, the fourth application. This method uses a genre-based teaching and learning approach where grammar plays a role in supporting the successful level of understanding and production of a text. Grammar learning must take the form of leading students to active, creative, effective, and enjoyable learning. But the challenge is that it must optimally involve student participation. Next, the principle. The principle of the method suggests that the EGRA method combines exposure, reinforcement, practical application, genre-based teaching, grammar support, creativity, and active student involvement facilitate effective language learning.
Alright, next I will explain the procedure for this method. There are 4 procedures or stages used by this method. The first, exposure. The teacher gives leading question to students about the material to be taught in the form of question and answer. First, picture show, second, brainstorming, and the third, providing keywords. In this phase, the teacher must try to guide students unconsciously about the material that will be taught by the teacher. All activities carried out by teachers in the exposure phase are attempted in the form of oral practice. The second, generalization. First, the teacher asks students to form groups consisting of 4 or 5 people in each group. Second, the teacher gives assignment in the form of discourse, question, quizzes, which in a sense must be assignments that direct students to discover the function and form of sentence structure that will be taught. Third, the teacher asks students to discuss their answer in groups. Fourth, students discuss their answers in class guided by the teacher. Fifth, the teacher writes the students' answers on the blackboard. Sixth, the teacher praises students for their hard work in answering questions. 7. The teacher provides example of correct pronunciation of students' answer on the blackboard. Note: at this stage, the teacher does not need to correct students' answer. Let them be creative and freely express their ideas. The third, reinforcement. First, the teacher discusses some of the students' answers written on the board. Second, the teacher provides an explanation as reinforcement regarding the function and form of the language structure being taught clearly. Third, the teacher gives several example sentences as models. Fourth, the teacher does drill repeatedly about pronouncing sentences correctly. Fifth, the teacher provides reinforcement in the form of giving assignment or question for students to complete. Sixth, the teacher asks students to work in pairs. 7. The teacher asks students to discuss their answers with each partner. 8. Students discuss their answers choreographically led by the teacher. The fourth, application. First, Students are asked to work individually. Second, the teacher gives task cards to students containing situation or cases. Third, students are asked to create their own answers to respond to the situation or cases given. Fourth, the teacher provides follow-up activities in the form of giving homework to be discussed in the future lesson. Note: good luck. The author often uses the ECRA technique every time he teaches grammar or structure, and it turns out that it makes students feel interested and involved in the English language learning process activities.
So the next material delivered by me, and it's about the advantage and disadvantage of using this method. So first I will explain about the advantage of using this method. So this method introducing the new learning concepts, so the students will put their interest and want to get involved as much as possible in every learning activities. Meanwhile, for the disadvantage of this method is that the teacher doesn't correct the students' answers in the first phase, so that it can cause errors in students. Second, these group discussions can produce different levels of participations. Some students may dominate the discussions, but it cannot be denied that there are some students that do not participate actively. And lastly, this method seems quite detailed and may be complicated to implement effectively as it may require more preparations and effort.
Alright, the next is what does a teacher need to prepare before utilizing this method in the classroom? In preparing for learning, there are several aspects that must be considered by a teacher. These include preparing the material that will be discussed in class, preparing the teaching aids that will be used or needed, and the teacher preparing question and direction to stimulate students to actively learn. So, this entire preparation aims to create an effective and interactive learning experience in the classroom. And the next, in line with the principles of this method, the following are examples of warming up activities that can be carried out by teachers. Warming up can be in the form of leading questions to students regarding the material will be taught, in the form of questions and answer, picture demonstrating, exchange ideas, or provide case say. For example, the teacher display a picture in front of the class according to the theme. The theme is narrative arranged using simple past tense. This can help prepare students to understand the lesson material will be presented.
Next is core activities. The first what teacher do is ask student to form 6 groups, each consisting of 6 people. The second is the teacher ask each group determine the group leader. Chairman this group is tasked with leading group members and write opinions submitted by each member are related with picture. The third is the teacher gives assignment in the form of writing simple essay with picture the same of each group. Each student must participate in writing the essay. Previously, the storyline and title had to be agreed upon by each student per group. The fourth is the teacher asks the group to exchange task essay, then discuss the essay with other group regarding content, grammar, or meaning of the essay together. The fifth is student discuss the result of the essay guided by the teacher. The sixth is the teacher writes down the answers to the student discussion result on the blackboard or whiteboard, namely problems or questions, including input or opinion that came up during the discussion without helping student to answer or provide solution of the problem discussed by student in discussion. Thus, the last is after that the teacher give praise student for their hard work and analyzing and commenting on the result essay by the other group. And then the essay written to per group.
In here, I will explain the last material about warming down activities. For the first, the teachers discuss something again problem resulting from student discuss or listen on the blackboard. And the second, the teacher gives an example sentences with sentence structure similar to a sentence that students have made. And the third, the teacher gives an explanation as follows: reinforcement of things that are problems. The fourth, the teacher displays several examples of SI as a model based on pictures. And the fifth, the teacher writes vocabulary or sentences, important sentence that fit the theme. And the last, the teacher provides reinforcement again in the form of giving assignment or question in accordance with them for students to work on. For example, what is the content of the essay? Anyone who told? Okay, maybe that's all the presentation from our group. Thank you for your attention.